there's a lot of stuff going on. I think we're now really at a point where there's a number of important milestones coming on. So what we should see will be patients coming in for the first time to be treated in lung cancer and then brain cancers, hopefully hearing back from the Japanese regulator on our request for approval.
All right, welcome back inside our Proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Raphi Levy. He is the CFO for Alpha Tau Medical. And Raphi, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm all right. Good morning. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you, and excited to learn a bit more about the company. Tell me a bit about Alpha Tau Medical. This technology really came out of a university setting, correct?
That's correct. Yes. In fact, while Alpha Tau does sound a bit like a fraternity, it's not. It is actually the use of alpha particles for treating cancer. And as you said, it came out of Tel Aviv University, hence the name Alpha Tau, TAU being Tel Aviv University. But that is already quite a bit behind us. Since then, we've made quite a bit of progress as a standalone company, now a public company, in taking this alpha DaRT technology and bringing it forward into trials in patients.
Yeah, let's talk about Alpha DaRT. Explain to me how it works and sort of what you've seen as the advancements from that early stage, as you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're trying to do is to apply alpha particles in treating solid tumors. People have known for years that alpha particles are incredibly more powerful, they're more efficient. You need significantly lower doses of radiation to kill tumors, and yet people have been unable to use them because of how short their range is. In fact, if you put them into tissue, you'll find that you'll kill a few cells, but really nothing of any clinical usefulness. What we've been able to do is to develop what we call the alpha DaRT, which, like it sounds, is a small piece of metal which is injected into the tumor. It's coated with a bit of radioactive material, which is designed to be released once it's injected into the tumor. The isotopes are actually released into the tumor, and they diffuse further and further away from that little piece of metal and release these alpha particles inside of the tumor. So what we're doing is we're basically employing a controlled release of alpha particle emitters in order to get these alpha particles deeper and deeper into the tumor in order to destroy the tumor from within.
Yeah, so in essence, it implodes on itself, right?
That's the goal, yes. The goal is to keep the destruction limited to the tumor and avoid sparing the surrounding healthy tissue, which of course has historically been one of the biggest challenges in using radiation to treat cancer, is the fact that while you're destroying the tumor, you're also destroying the healthy tissue around it. In our case, the fact that the alpha particles are so short in range actually is no longer their strength. It's actually, is no longer their shortcoming. It's now their strength. Now we know that we're going to see a very well-defined radius of tumor destruction and hopefully avoid damaging the healthy tissue around it.
Yeah, Raphi, I know that the company is working on a number of clinical trials, and that's the one thing about this is, as I was researching the company, is the fact that it could be used for many different things and many different types of cancers. So talk to me a bit about the work that you're doing on these clinical trials and just how important they are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good point. Because the nature of the treatment is not really specific to the type of the tumor, it's basically just a small amount of incredibly potent radioactivity. So we find that we can use this really across any tumor, hopefully. We've done this in preclinical work in animals in over 20 tumor types and have never seen a tumor type that doesn't respond. And so we've decided to prioritize a few different areas in human clinical trials. Our first trials were in the skin or the head and neck superficial tumors, tumors that are easy to see and get to, where we would inject this treatment into the tumor. And we've had some great success there. We're already approved for this product in Israel and have applied for approval in Japan as well for head and neck cancer. And so we are continuing that path in the US, where we've seen fantastic data as well. Last year, we published data, in the JAMA journal, that's the Journal of the American Medical Association, where we showed in a trial in skin cancer patients across the US that we had a 100% complete response rate. Every tumor we treated disappeared and stayed disappeared over the life of the study. And we saw that with minimal side effects, really only local side effects, mild or moderate side effects that were quite easy to manage. On that basis, we're now in the middle of a pivotal study in the US, which should be our last trial for our first FDA approval in recurrent skin cancers, what's called SCC. At the same time, we are also investigating a number of other cancers where we think this can be of very high value. In particular, we have a number of trials open in pancreatic cancer. Patients who have unresectable pancreatic cancer have a terrible outlook, and we released some interim data there from Canada in late 2023, seeing some very strong safety signals as well as some early hints of efficacy. But the goal is to try this in a number of different cancers where we think we can add the most value and demonstrate that, as we've seen so far in skin and head and neck cancers, hopefully we can provide high value to those patients as well.
And Raphi, is that what investors should understand for this coming fall and into early 2025? Is that what your focus is right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think we're now really at a point where there's a number of important milestones coming on. So what we should see will be patients coming in for the first time to be treated in lung cancer and then brain cancers, hopefully hearing back from the Japanese regulator on our request for approval. And then looking towards the beginning of next year, we'll be releasing data on some additional patients in pancreatic cancer, as well as finishing up over the next quarter or two the recruitment of those patients in the U.S. study in skin cancer to be able to apply in the second half of next year for approval from the FDA.
It's a busy one for sure, Raphi. We appreciate your time and letting us know what the company's up to. It's really fascinating and very important work as well. So good to see you, and thank you very much, and good luck with everything. We look forward to following your story.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Yeah, you as well. There's Raphi Levy, the CFO for Alpha Tau Medical.